Wiiyaan in our language in Bundjalung means the spirits and the ancestral spirits of our people that we have a link back to, and we use it to refer to the three brothers and their grandmother. They're the ancestors of all of Bundjalung. Every tribe goes back to one of those three brothers as our ancestor, and the grandmother that travel with them. And we call it the Wiiyaan because Wiiyaan refer to the spiritual ancestors of our people, and there's the law attached to that, the three brothers law, and we come under that law system, and that's why we go back to the Wiiyaan. The project that we got with the Wiiyaan is that to make sure that generations into the future know that story that we've carried for a long time from our ancestors right through to now. It's still a continuous, unbroken line, and we want it to continue still into the future. Around 2019, when I was talking to one of the old fellas, and we were talking about that story and talking about the three brothers and what happened, and his grandson was sitting there with us, and the grandson asked, what's that story? And we don't normally tell it publicly. It's not really a story that we talk about all the time. I asked the grandfather, didn't you tell him that story yet? And he said, no, he doesn't know it. I said, why didn't you tell him? He said, he never asked. So how do we make sure that we're still telling them those important stories that aren't necessarily publicly told stories all the time? They went from paintings to kind of all kinds of different expressions, sculptures and all kinds of stuff, but the younger guys started to pick up that kind of style too.
The animation sort of shows the three brothers and the grandmother coming to the land and sort of discovering things for the first time and how it all evolved from there. It's sort of like the beginning story. So we've been told the story ever since we were little, growing up, about the origins of the three brothers. We recently worked with Claire from the Ludo Studios, and she came down and taught us how to animate.
So the curve, you want to hold down Alt.
Alt.
Yeah. So if you hold down Alt, so now
put that story into a visual medium. Growing up, we were always told the stories through the elders, and I think a lot of Aboriginal people over time have adapted through tools, language, everything else, but the stories are still spoken. And so I think this is sort of the new age adapting to the now, who can actually get those stories that have been told and visualise them and actually see them come to life, which I think is really cool.
We've always been a people that's connected to water. There's a big story, especially, the three brothers, that our origins starts in the sea. It starts with a canoe, and we're people of the salt water. It's a big part of who we are.
One of the considerations that we have to think about now in the time that we're in is what we pass on to the next generation. We're the last generation to have contact with traditionals in our community. Our kids and the generation of our kids, they never knew our grandmothers and our grandfathers. That transition for a community is generally what doesn't get passed on in that generation, you can lose. So it's important that we transfer of knowledge in this generation.
I don't think it was ever intended just for us, but I think we're given a responsibility to carry it.
Everybody has all access to all knowledge, where we have specific protocols of who should have access to what knowledge. I feel like what was common knowledge 150 years ago should be common knowledge again. And so this project is part of that exercise for me, that every Bundjalung kid should know our origin story.